he'll play. It's just so weird when you're a Michigan fan watching a spring game. You're like, yeah, oh wait, you don't know which way to root, really.
Yeah.
I tend to like defense more than offense, so maybe I'm rooting more on the defensive side. But then I do want Orji to complete passes. So
we lost you.
You're muted.
You muted
something
Ferris.
all of a sudden. Yeah. Yep, still muted.
Yep.
But we'll let you work on that. We had you, but I think a wire got uncrossed because like you were going fine, and then all of a sudden it was off. But yeah. So yeah, I like O'Leary. I like the wide receivers that I saw, but I agree. I think I would have liked to see more from Samaj. And Tyler Morris as well. But again, they're starters, and definitely Tyler Morris is a starting wide receiver.
Yep.
So
he's locked in.
Yeah, for sure. So the defense side. So obviously we had some question marks about the offense, but how about some of the players on defense, whether it was TJ Guy, Zeke Berry? There are some real standouts, and it seems like it's a situation where they're reloading instead of rebuilding.
Yep. It's gonna be a top 10 defense. It might be a top 5 defense. It could, maybe number 1. I don't know, but I do know it's gonna be an extremely difficult defense to score against, extremely difficult defense to throw on, because they're gonna bring pressure. Tons of guys. I mean, look at who didn't play, right? Will Johnson didn't play. Kenneth Grant didn't play. Mason Graham didn't play, right? We have studs at every level, all 3 levels on the defense. There are studs all over the place, and we have guys emerging at all 3 levels. You have TJ Guy emerging on the defensive line. You got DJ Waller emerging in the backfield. You got Jimmy Reuter emerging in the linebacker corps. Jay Sean Barnum, who's our new guy, who's, you could say he's emerging because he's still young. He has like 2 years of eligibility. So tons of youth developing. The defense looks good. Defense looks healthy. I'm hoping we can acquire some depth in the portal, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, man, I mean, the defense, in my opinion, is not a position, a side of the ball we need to worry about at all.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
Cole Sullivan, hell yeah.
Cole Sullivan.
Another one. That's what I mean. We're loaded, man. You can't even remember them all.
He's a dog.
Yeah. So I just want to see Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham together. John, you made a really interesting point of Michigan defense gave up 24 points. But it was for the whole game, right? So it wasn't really a defense and then an offense and then a defense, whatever. But it was for the whole game. It was split up. It'll be interesting to see how many teams in the fall get to 24 points against Michigan. And Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham were on 2 different teams. So I thought the defense looked great. It's just interesting because I thought they looked really good, but I thought the offense also had moments too. So it was kind of the best of both worlds, from my perspective. On the defensive side, I mentioned Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, and Will Johnson. I consider those the 3 superstars on defense. We'll see how things work with Zeke Berry, Quentin Johnson, and Makari Page, and but it seems like we're okay. I mean, it seems like things are good. So Rod Moore, I thought was going to be a big loss.
It still hurts.
Still hurts, yeah.
I'm sad. Yeah, I'm still sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad for him, for sure, and it's bad for us too. But I mean, for the team, but we seem to have next man up mentality here too. So,
yeah, I agree. I think we do have next man up mentality, which is I mean, that's the thing is, like, we really are a developmental university, but at a higher level than schools like an Iowa or a Wisconsin of old, right? Because Wisconsin's kind of taking a step back. But listen, we have a healthy program, boys. I mean, that's just the reality of it. We are in a reload phase, and you know, I think we're gonna be extremely competitive next year, both offensively and defensively.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Moose nailed it as far as the young guys coming up. Cole Sullivan looked really, really good. Zeke Berry, he also mentioned here, ridiculous. Somebody I didn't see a lot was Eno Etta. But
Yeah.
he seems like he's going to also be a promising piece. Maybe they were just keeping him out of a lot of contact. I don't really know, but he looked, he's somebody I've been pretty high on as far as who's going to, step up.
Yeah, he's had a lot of hype out of camp, and there's actually, I mean, like he's kind of becoming like a little bit of a vocal leader, almost like a little bit of an attitude. If you watch his interviews, he's kind of like, you can tell he's coming. He's on his way. He'll be a dude. But yeah, I think I don't know. I'm just excited, man. Like I feel so much better. Like, we should have did on that call-in show, John. Maybe, I don't know. We should have asked people, are you more optimistic post spring game or less optimistic? Like, what is the gauge?
Yeah.
And I think majority of us would say we're a lot more optimistic after that spring game. I think a lot of us got a lot of comfort and answers. And I'm just excited. I'm ready for the season, but now I gotta wait. Sucks.
Well, let's ask the chat.
Yeah.
Chat. If you watched the spring game, and I hope you did if you're watching Michigan Wolverines live in April, I hope you watched the spring game or got a recording of it on YouTube TV or something, or regular YouTube. And do you feel more or less confident about the 2024 season after what you saw in the spring game? Let's see what happens in the chat here. Tom says more, so that's good. Let's see. More, okay, and we'll just keep this going throughout the show. We'll just keep at, people can keep chiming in. Ferris, any final thoughts on the defense?
Well, while I was muted, the one thing I just wanted to say is probably my favorite when we saw the Michigan offense against the Michigan defense. In particular, I really enjoyed when we were going all out playing actual tackle football.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were running right up the middle, and everyone was trying to tackle. Some other schools don't really do that, and it was great. It just felt good to see. I mean, obviously nobody got injured, but in particular, probably Donovan Edwards. If you remember some of his, he only had 5 carries, I think. But each one of them, it looked like people were putting in max effort to try to tackle him. And it was, I found that more fun than some of these mismatch games that we're in, that in the fall. So I personally, I really enjoyed that. Glad nobody got hurt. I will say that, but
yeah, that's actually a great point. I didn't even really think of that. Yeah, we came injury free, which is great. And Donovan Edwards made the most of his carries, man. I think everybody watched Donovan Edwards and was like, okay, he's ready. Like he looks like he has patience. Looks like his vision's improved. I mean, he just looks good.
Yeah, and we did it. We were injury free while playing real football. We played real football on Saturday, as opposed to some other spring games that had happened, including the certain team down south. A lot more up and down, a lot more going back and forth between tackle and 2-hand touch. But the only people that were on touch were the quarterbacks. So the quarterback, and I understand why they had the quarterbacks kind of protected, and I understand that. But at the same time, it was a joy to watch. Absolutely joy to watch.